Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Well, oh, you guys are in here. Hey, go backstage. You're not here. You guys, let me tell you something. See there? You know what? I embrace my senior moments. Where's Bill? I embrace them. You know what? For real. Because at least when I see them, I know they're senior moments. Now, when I go, who are you? Where am I? Y'all call somebody. Call somebody. You know, they'll put me on one of those, you know, those leashes that you see kids. I don't like those. They probably have one for me. I'm not kidding. I hope not, but who knows? Anyway, I'll make the best of it. I'll make the best of it. I was talking to a friend of mine this weekend, Ren, who he was on the show I think it was a week ago today. And you guys might remember he's got a reoccurring role on the upcoming season of Ozarks. And he just got cast in the new Marvel movie. I think it's called Dark Adam. Oh, no, Black Adam. It sounds like it's a takeoff, doesn't it? A spinoff of Black Panther, probably. Don't quote me. But anyway, he and I were talking yesterday, and I was talking about my senior moments. You know what I mean? And how, you know, if I ever get into movies, I want to be like that guy on, do you remember Fridays, Craig's father? And he had that, or he was in Coming to, was it Coming to America? Was it Coming to Halle Berry? One of those movies. And he's that one that had the mushrooms on the inside of his coat and all that stuff, coordinate. Yeah, I either want to be him or I want to be Uncle Pete from the movie Soul Food. You know, the crazy little family member that you keep upstairs in a room. Yes, that's who I want to be. I can play that. I don't even have to practice, right? So no rehearsal for me. I'm ready to go. So anyway, what a wonderful weekend. It got hot here. I'm not complaining. And we had great times. We had visitors this weekend. I spent time with two friends, believe it or not. You guys, you know, my story's out there. So yeah, these two guys I met years and years and years ago, almost 20 years ago, in the big house, also known as prison. That's the bougie way of saying prison. Yeah. So anyway, I did, and they were both doing one was doing like 50 to something years, and one was doing life. And I had a download for each of them separately, and had told them that they would get out one day. God had told me that they would get out one day, and they both did. One of them was actually, he told me, 1 year and 1 day. I was 1 year and 1 day off. God is good all the time. Can I get an amen? And it was just, I can't even begin to tell you. Yes, I can, because I'm telling you. But I mean, you know how there are certain feelings and emotions and experiences that we just haven't created words to express it fully. Well, that's how it was for me with these friends Friday evening, sitting there and listening to them tell you what happened once the seed was planted in their mindset. And it's the kind of thing you want every person in the universe to experience. That's all I can say about that. So you guys keep planting those seeds. Johnny Appleseed mentality. Just throw them out there. You might be surprised one day when they come back to tell you, look, I am what you've grown. Think about that. Let that sink in. And welcome. Good morning to all you beautiful people. Beverly Johnson, didn't you used to come here all the time? Did the alien girl, where you been? I missed your face. Yes, I did. Listen, I want to put something up there. You guys are beautiful. Robert Brooker. I just love all of you. I wonder where Sherry McQueen is this morning, sleeping in. Well, we're not. And what I love about this right here, coming together, first of all, it fulfills one of the greatest promises of all, that where two of us come together or more, something wonderful will happen. There's no might, should, could. It will, and it does, and today is no exception. I have two fantastic people. They actually are my favorite couple. To the left, Will and Jada. Oprah and Stedman, who? Right. We aren't even gonna go to Brad and Jolene because they're such old news. But Eric and Veronica, now that's current news. I love them. I always have. You know how before you even know about some people, there's just something about them where you're sitting there going, huh. Yep. That's how it was with them. And you're going to find out why in just a couple minutes. That is the bell of purpose. And what it means is it's everyone's opportunity, whether you believe it or not. We all have an innate desire to be a part of something greater than ourselves. And I'm going to try to make that easy for you. When you hear the bell rings, it means, first of all, let me share this good, ooey chewy goodness out with someone else. Doesn't cost. You're not going to bleed. Hit the share button. You're going to get blessed in the manner in which you bless others. So do that, and then perk up. Put your superpower ears on, because there's something floating around, moving around in this atmosphere. Just because it's laying in the middle of the road, don't mean it's roadkill. It could be something to soul fill. So back your vehicle up, look at it, throw it in the trunk, and take it home with you. Can I get an amen? There we go. Welcome at this time to my show. She's here every day. This is my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, and we have a new flavor today. We are drinking on salted caramel hazelnut explosion. Let's see what happens. Wait for it. Wow. I can taste it. Roast beef and mashed potatoes. I can actually feel the gravy running down my throat. And here comes dessert. Blueberry pie. Oh, wait. That's Violet from Willy Wonka. Never mind. It's coffee. So I am here. You are here. We are here. It's 10 after. It's time to get them in. So housekeeping. Don't they always knock like just a little bit too soon? Think about that one. Anyway, Welcome to the show. We have a process here. We put our hearts into it. We put some hearts on the screen. We pour into each other in the manner we wish to be poured into. And I want you to welcome them, because I just love these two. I'm so glad they're back, and I'm glad you're here and didn't miss them. Welcome to the stage, Eric and Veronica. Eric? Oh, Lord. See, but I caught it. When you catch your own senior moment, you still are in the game. Don't forget that. You hear me, AARP? Keep your gold program. I'm sticking with silver. Here they come. I bring you in early. I call Aaron Eric, and there were a couple others in there too. How are you doing, Mandy? I mean, Veronica. I'm kidding. How are you two?
We're doing well. How are you?
Awesome.
Good. Is this a video? Are you guys really there? Because you look exactly the same as you did. You weren't here during COVID. I didn't have you on the show during COVID.
No.
I don't think we were.
It was pre-COVID, and you didn't age at all. How'd you do that?
We pre-record everything.
Antioxidants.
Really? Are you serious?
No.
Well, because you guys, let me tell you, you guys are going to explain who you are. I want you to introduce yourselves, because there's no intro that you could shoot me through email or Raven or anything else, bat signal, that would adequately speak to just how wonderful you two truly are. I've watched you, and I peek in. I know you think I'm not around, but I am, and I watch you guys all the time. And you're such an amazing example. And Veronica, you're so gifted. Your gifts of the spirit are just incredible. I've never run into another set exactly like yours. Well, anybody's, but yours just stand out to me. And you guys blend into such a beautiful combination of purpose. It's just really wonderful. I talk about you guys all the time. So why don't you take a moment? I'm going to pop out, let you guys say hello, and we'll get started. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
But I'm actually taking you out this time. Here, I'm taking myself out. Here.
Well, I'm Veronica Mendez, and this is my husband, Aaron Garcia. And we got started doing live shows a few years back.
Yeah.
How long has it been? Like 3 years now?
Oh, going on 4. We're on 4 years.
And we just got a message saying that we need to start a show. And so we listened, and we didn't know what we were going to talk about. At that time, it was a little scary going on camera, and we were, kind of hesitant. And I think Aaron was like really nervous about it. And it took about a year before we even started. And finally, we just did it. And it's like, let's just go. And it's changed, and it's evolved over the years. And we have to bring the fun into it.
You do that.
Yeah.
And it's been a process. As we were going through a big change in career and transition at this time of our lives, and it was our time to finally step out. And we had been talking about just sharing our knowledge and our message and bringing our work together around this time back in 2017, end of 2017. And so when we started doing that, it was like, hey, we have, now's the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Facebook Live was just getting popular, getting started, there wasn't a lot of features, things you can do. There wasn't these kind of type of platforms to go on. It was just webcam and Facebook. And later on, we played with different technologies. Web live video became more popular. We started doing more, and we just started sharing our message. And that's all it came down to. And through that process, we met so many great people, just like yourself, Lauren. And we started with interviews, then we started sharing our own knowledge and experience. And we really wanted to talk about it started off with talking about our challenges, that we all go through challenges in our life, and you're not the only one. And we brought people on to share their stories about, maybe they are at a point of success in their life right now, but it wasn't always that way. What was the biggest moments? What got you out of that? Because somebody is going through something right now. And we all understand that. And a lot of times we don't know who to go to, who to talk to. And when we realize we are in a part of a community that, hey, there's people that are willing to help. We've gone through these experiences. You're not the only one. And I think that was very helpful for a lot of people, and also for us. And then it evolved into just teaching a lot about mindset and how we attract things and bringing spiritual concepts into that. So that was really how our shows and live streams started to happen.
Also the emotions, because emotions have a big impact on how we manifest and what we bring into our life.
Yes, and we're going to get into that. I'm writing down some notes here. You guys, now Aaron, you are a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Do you still do any of that? Yes or no? I forget.
I do a little bit. I don't practice that much anymore. I really still focus a lot on, I work on my family when I'm here at the house for anything that they need. I see like a couple private people here.
Right.
But I don't like fully do that as my
full-time job. You guys poured everything into the Aaron and Veronica brand. And so how do you feel about now, because I got some stuff down to get us at least through the first half hour. Seriously, that's really important for everybody here today. And this is what I'm talking about, these two, you guys. I had a completely blank sheet. I just have a couple things on it right now. And usually I have everything pointed out, speaking points and all that, questions that I'm going to ask, but I didn't have to with you guys because I love the organicness of just kicking it with you two, because you give people so much to think about from the gate. So when you said, first of all, did you think back about your 2017 decision when you said, I'm gonna stop doing this and we're gonna pour everything here? I bet you felt pretty good about that when COVID slammed the front door.
Oh yeah, because I was telling people when COVID hit, it's like we had already prepared for about 3 years for that. So there really was no difference. Everybody was going online.
Right.
We had already prepared. We had gone through all of the bugs of live streaming and broadcasting.
Yep.
And so we were able to do that. It wasn't really no big difference for us. We're already stuck at home, so we were okay with that.
And not only that, but we had already put my daughter into homeschool like a year or two.
Couple years before,
2 years prior. So she was already set.
That's how it went in our household, minus the child. But we didn't miss a beat. Actually, last year was a better year for us, not for all, but for many people. And so let me ask you, do you feel that, how did you look back over that and go, wow, look how everything came together? Now, I know you two don't believe in happenstance. So tell everybody your interpretation of why and how that all came together so nicely for you. What was it you were doing? What were you tapping into? What were you listening to? What were you connecting with that convinced? Because I'm sure all of those decisions weren't just, okay, some of them you had to kind of walk around, push them back and forth. But what is it you follow that allowed you to click all those pieces into place like a slide puzzle and be exactly where you were meant to be when you were there? Because a lot of people don't, because we don't follow our first mind. We talk ourselves out. We choose ourselves out, all of the above and more. Veronica, why don't you start with this one? Because I know you're a real empath, the way you're connected to emotions. And we're going to get into that too, the difference between emotions and feelings. I've wanted to ask you that for a long time. So go ahead and tell us about that experience for you guys.
So it's really listening to that inner voice, the intuition that's guiding us, and it's always there. But a lot of times we get so caught up in our minds and our head of like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, and we're not taking that time to just sit and listen and to quiet the mind, still the mind, and pay attention to what is our spirit telling us to do. It's like we're trying to go all the time, but we're not taking the time to just listen. And I think that's what's really guided us to be where we are today, and to start the show, and just the things that we're meant to be and do. And Aaron, when I first met Aaron, he didn't really believe in all that, maybe a little, or he was curious about it, but he's really grown a lot on that spiritual side, and I'm proud of him for listening, because it's made a huge difference.
Ring the bell.
That's happened in our marriage too. Brian and I. Brian was not a believer at first, but how can you not be when you see it, live it, hear it, smell it, taste it day after day, moment after moment? It just has to happen. And that's one of the things I think we all need to keep in mind: consistency. If with the truth is always going to be the same. It's the only thing in the universe that just never changes and will never change on us. So live your truth, be your truth, speak your truth, share your truth, and you're going to attract the same. So thank you for that. So one of the things that ties in, let's talk about this. You just said, just listen. Just listen. Now, see that I knew that flew right past you, or you flew right past it, or you pick which one happened. But the thing about it is, that's not as easy as people might think. Just listen. Because how many times have we been listening to some really great feedback, content, whatever? But I know, because I don't suffer. I live with and live through ADHD. Right. Mm-hmm. So my mind's like clicking to a million things. Wow. And I used to be one of those people, Veronica, where you'd be talking to me, really pouring into me, and I'd be like, okay, trying to hurry you through it because I wanted to jump in like we were double Dutch jump roping. So I'm not really listening to you. I hear you, but I'm not listening. So talk about how a person gets to the point where they can just listen. Some people think that this is listening. You're talking to me and I'm like, yeah. That's not listening. That's multitasking.
Yeah.
So tell us what you know about that. Either of you, Aaron.
I'll let Aaron go on this one.
Okay.
I think this has been my experience. I was the exact same way. Is not really paying attention to that guiding voice, that intuition, that gut feeling that we all get it sometimes. Sometimes we listen to it, and a lot of times we don't. And what happens is if you haven't been trained in this concept of, when we talk about listening, it's listening to that inner voice, which is very subtle. And I would barely ever listen to that voice. And I think we've all had those moments where we knew we should have done something or should have, taken an opportunity or not go into these situations, and we didn't listen to that because of other people's influences or our own past conditioning. And we go through it and we regret it. And we say to ourselves, I knew it. I shouldn't have done that. I should have trusted my gut. And like, why do we all have those experiences? And so what I've learned to listen is really training to quiet out all of the noise that's surrounding our outside environment. It's right now, it's the technology. It's I have to do these tasks. I have to go to work. I have to pay my bills. I have to take care of my children. And a lot of times we just need to slow down for just a moment and just like close our eyes. This is where meditation comes in. This is how we started. We started to do meditation. For me, meditation, like 5 minutes was like, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I have things I need to do. Me too. Here are these like time is money, all these things. And I would find myself very frantic and stressed all the time because I always felt I had to be doing something. And how we're taught that is, you got to work hard. You got to do things. You got to pay your bills. You got to do your career. And I've realized over time that what that does to me physically and being in the health field, I can feel my own body. I know what my body's telling me. And I started to slow down. I started to do the meditations. I started to study the mind a bit more to understand it. And studying the mind really took me down to understand spiritual concepts. That's just the way it guided me. And when we learn how to quiet our thoughts, we learn how to meditate, we learn how to concentrate on one thing at a time. Then we start to hear that little voice inside the head that tells you, do this, do that, don't do this. But we have to practice and we have to condition ourselves to do that. We all have this ability to listen and follow our intuition. We have guidance within us, but we are too distracted by all the outside stimuli. And we have to learn how to turn that off, turn off all of our senses, your sight, your smell, your hearing, your touch, and learn how to just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And just when you see your mind kind of going back and forth, thinking about different things, you have to learn how to control that. And
it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a practice. That's why
it's not easy. I'm keeping it real. I'll do it and I'll put on a guided meditation thing. I use this thing that Justin Charpentier hooked me up with, Insight Timer. Mm-hmm. And you can go in there and listen to the, guided meditations, all these different things. And, I'd sit there and it'd be a 20-minute thing and I'd be, listening. And then I go off and I'm in my mind, I'm okay. I need to do this in the garden. Okay. Then I need to go in the basement. Oh, I forgot to put the salt in the water softener thing. Oh, and the next thing I know, there's 4 minutes left, or she's hitting that gong. Bang, bang. And I'm like, what did she even say? And I'm wondering, well, maybe it got in there, and it's in there. I was here, but I always say this, no matter what, I keep coming back because the 4 Agreements tells me that as long as I'm doing my best, and so next time I go and I say, well, what can I do to make it better? And so here's the thing that I had trouble with for a long time, personally, and tell me what you think about this, because when we say that voice, some people, just in this conversation, we said that voice, inner voice, it, and I had to put a name on it. Okay. I had to name that voice in order to make it real to me. I did, because, it's not like you hear, oh, Lauren, good morning. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming, honey. Doing a Fred Sanford thing. And so it took me probably close to a decade to work myself all the way into the knowing that separated, even though it sounded like me, I thought it was me. And I was like, I want to listen to more me. Yeah, it's funny. I was just telling somebody yesterday, and they were like, did you really mean that thing in your masterclass where you said, and I did. I've always said it when I was little, when I was never more excited than the day in 4th grade when Mrs. Johnson said, she wrote 10% on the board and said, this is how much of our brains we use. There's still 90%. I was so relieved. I was like, good, because I'm going to need it, and now I am using more of that 90% in ways they don't teach you. When you're small, when you're building everything and you're growing in your brain, they don't, well, they don't teach doctors nutrition either in medical school. So there you go. So how important, and what do you, if anything, call that voice? What is it? What's it look like? What's it feel like? What's it sound like? It's different for everybody. Veronica, you take that one first.
I call it spirit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron?
I feel like we're on a game show. What is she doing right now?
And it could be the newlyweds, because you guys are newlyweds.
What does Aaron call it?
I'm the same way. We call it spirit, source, whatever you want to call it. I think whatever, like you said, Lauren, is whatever resonates with you. You can give it a name. It could be Stephen. It could be God. It could be Lucy. Whatever you want it to be, is you get to give it a name, because it's something that's nameless. Our minds just have to give meaning to it. And so I find it when you just identify something, because how do you have faith in something? How do you build a relationship with something you can't see or recognize? That's really hard for people to comprehend. That's why we have to give pictures and images to things, even though that's not really what it is, but it's how we can make sense of that. And I've just learned.
Right. And I don't mean to butt in. I'm sorry. I do. Everybody already know. Get ready. And for a lot of us who come from backroom, cultural, familial groomings, I guess I could say, whether it's organized religion, lack of, whatever, because I know people that families were atheists, and scientists and things like that, medical doctors. I mean, you know how that is. It's usually science or the other. And Aaron, this is a good one for you, because I think what you were saying was, what Veronica was saying was, when you guys first got together, you really weren't into it. And a lot of people, I used to, until last year during COVID, I really called that stuff gifts of the spirit, woo woo. If they like it, I love it. Good for them. I know I have some things going on, but I ain't into the energy healing and all that. No. Now, I mean, I've met angels. They've opened up gates right in front of me. I've seen it actually manifest, like in hours. The angel of abundance changed my life in 72 hours. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. Her name is Rachel. And I asked her, I said, the scarcity mindset, is it ever going to go away? It makes no difference how much income I make. And You know what she told me? She goes, your scarcity mindset is because you're too, it's not even a scarcity mindset. It's limiting beliefs. You believe that abundance is money, just money. And so you're holding back all the things that should come before it. And she goes, and I said, but I try to be of service. She goes, yeah, to everybody else. But this gate that I stand before is for you. And until you want it, I said, so what do I have to do? Because I'm like, yeah. I was doing that thing that we were just talking about. And she goes, all you have to do is say it.
Yeah. One thing that helped me was understanding when I started going down and studying, and I've learned that if you want to know more, you have to understand it. So you're going to have to study. You're going to have to learn how this all works. And we were studying universal laws. Okay, if this is the guidelines or the rules of our life to live not just a successful financial life, but a happy life, because we've come across a lot of clients and people that we know that were quote unquote successful financially, but at the same time were unhappy, maybe unhappy in their relationships. Maybe they were having poor health conditions, or it just wasn't enough for them. They needed more. Like there's something that's always driving us to go further, to expand, to grow. That is that spirit part of us. And so when I started studying universal laws, and Veronica was doing this with me, we came across a law that's called the law of supply. And when I started to understand this, the law of supply says that everything we've ever needed, anything that we ever will need, is already here and always will be here, especially on this planet. And here's a great example of that. And think about it. This technology that we're using today to broadcast to you guys here live, the cameras that we use, the microphones to transmit all this, the materials that were created to design all this, your cell phones, your cars, all of that material, all that technology has been around millions of years ago. The materials are still here. It's metals.
Right. I see what you're saying.
The electricity was always here, and there's so much of it. It just takes a higher consciousness and ideas to be able to harness. What do we do with this? And this is where inventions and creation comes in, because somebody will get an idea in their mind, and everything's always created twice. Meaning that it always starts as an idea in your mind first, and then you create the physical manifestation of that.
Absolutely right.
Whether you create it or somebody else creates it for you, but all of this material is always here. Every time I hear there's a shortage, there's a water shortage. How is there a water shortage when our planet is covered with more than like 80% water?
Right.
We have the technology to clean the water. Yes, I get it. It's money and resources, but we have the technology. We know how to do that. It's just our ability to harness that energy and power. So that's what the law of supply tells me. So whenever I get into that scarcity mindset, and I'm conditioned to do that too, even if I study this, I can still fall into old habits.
Right.
I have to remind myself of that. Is I am limitless. I just have to, pay attention to that. I have to really keep my mind in a positive and a growth expansion mindset. The moment I say there's not enough, I'm contracting myself and I'm giving up.
Also, if you look at all the the great minds like Einstein, Napoleon Hill, Steve Jobs, all these people that created things, they tapped into that higher source, and they, what I believe is that they received a lot of their information from that. And if you look at all those people, like they were tapping into something greater than themselves.
That's what Edison used to do. Edison used to go into like his land of the invisible. Like he would just sit in a rocking chair. He'd write a problem on his piece of paper, and he would rock there forever. How long he sat there until he got an answer. It's like a lot of these great thinkers, they always talk about learning, listen to that voice, quiet that outside noise. And because we're not taught to do that, we're taught to be distracted all the time. So we have to fight our old conditioning, our old belief systems. And this is why we started teaching people about mindset. Is once we understand it more, then we have to practice it. Just understanding it is the first key in awareness. To be aware when you're meditating, Lauren, when you mentioned like, I'm doing this, I'm thinking about that. what I always tell people and what I practice is I'm okay if that happens, but I have to catch myself. Oh, there's my thought again. I'm going to bring it right back. Oh, there's that thought again. I'm going to bring myself right back. And then the next time is I can go longer focusing here, and then the thought still comes. Oh, there I am. I come right back. So the less times that I get distracted, the stronger I'm getting mentally. But that's where practice comes into play.
Absolutely. And I know for myself with this practice piece, because it stood out to me. It's like, okay, doctors practice medicine, attorneys practice law, even people in yoga, they practice yoga, which means, I know I suddenly hear that. Huh. You hear it?
No, it might be on your end.
Okay.
Let me know if it goes away.
Well, as long as it's just me, well, you know. Shut up! I'm on the air. That's one of my other personalities. I'm kidding. Don't anybody try to? Don't worry. Yes, that piece with the practice. Now, it's hard for people. Let's talk. Let's break this down. Maybe this is the whole thing today. I struggled for a long time questioning, because it was like, I don't know if I should mention what I just heard or felt to anybody, because what if nobody else, you know what I mean? When you don't have a reference point, it's not like everybody's sitting around, how you been? You know, let's talk about downloads. You know what? Guess what they told me this morning? Nobody really does that when the law of attraction hasn't fully been able to work with you. Well, you know, because we prevent things, we get it as we're ready. The training wheels are going to stay on each of these gifts until, you know, spirit can take its hands off the back of the bike and you can ride without falling, because it doesn't want you to be afraid, skin your knee, and never get back on the bike again. So it's going to wait until you have all the components to be able to stand on it, stay on it, and do it. So I had a real rough time coming to grips that I was really hearing things being sent inside my own never-ending story. And when I saw that movie, it all made sense. I was like, that's me. I am Bastian. I am in my own never-ending story. Now, do you believe that all of us can get to that place where we have that two-way feed, where all of those things? I mean, do you think that some people have this, Veronica, this is directed at you, kind of person, is everybody able to be an empath? Can everybody harness energy healing? Or are certain people chosen to be like, you know, the wizard in certain things? Tell us about what you know about
And go.
I do believe that everyone can get to that space, because we're all connected, and there's just some people that have it more developed than others. You know, there's a lot of experiences that we go through that sometimes will open up these channels. Like for me, I had a couple near-death experiences when I was little, and I believe that opened something up. I've had other experiences where, you know, could have been that were traumatic, and, you know, stuff like that happens, and it'll open up. But everyone, I believe, can get to that point.
It's like physical fitness. You know, it's like physical fitness. You know, there's great athletes, people that can be Ironman marathon runners. They can win, but anybody can be an Ironman athlete.
Yeah.
And it's just how hard is everybody going to train? How willing are they to do that? Do they even believe in themselves to be able to do that? That is really what I found too, is our belief in ourselves to be able to open this, and our willingness to do that. Can anybody be an empath? Absolutely, because I've been able to develop that. Right. And is Veronica's stronger than mine? Yes, but she practices it more. She feels it.
It's further developed.
Yeah. Could I learn to develop it at that level? Absolutely. But I have to be willing to do that. And I might have to work harder at it than other people, but I can do that. If someone says that, you know, I'm not smart at math, well, it's just you don't understand math, but you can learn to be good at it. And what a great time that we live in, to live in such information. We can have access to anything at the click of a button. YouTube, hey Google, hey Siri.
Any question.
Teach me how to do this.
And you can ask that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we had encyclopedias I had to go to when I was in school. There was internet didn't
We were
really come.
talking
So I
about
was
that the
probably
other day. That big dictionary. Remember that big dictionary in the library in elementary school? That great big huge one. And my little clique, 10-year-old Cub Scouts, all we did was go in there and look up dirty words. You know what I mean? It's like, we did, and there was always little comments, and so we weren't the first. And I get it, and it's that seeking that is so important. But let me ask you, Aaron. Now that you're on the other side and you're inside, and Veronica is, that's the thing about being evenly yoked. When you're brought to your soulmate for this leg of the journey, did you find that now that you know more, do you see where some of these things were with you all along, but you just didn't recognize them? You didn't have a name for them, or do you feel like it all happened after? And I was just moving through life without any of this stuff. Did you, I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I
because
probably
when we
didn't.
talk, because here's what I want. What did you
Right.
call it? Did you say, did you chalk some things off to arbitrary? That's luck. How did you look at things then that you now know were some of the most powerful roadways within your journey? And you
I
just
think
didn't see it.
back then, so for me, when we started really getting into this was probably about starting around like 2015 and more heavily in 2016. That's when I started getting into more meditation, but kind of guiding into that area. I was probably like most other people, and we sponsored by V8 in this episode. V8.
Yeah.
You.
I have to mention it once a day. There we go.
So I was probably just like everybody else, where I would call it, I had good luck, or I had bad luck, or what a coincidence that things would happen, because
Out of the blue.
this is the language that we have, and
Isn't that weird?
We follow the same pattern, and then as I started understanding,
get what I'm doing, right, Veronica? I'm throwing those words that deceive in there. That's just so strange. Wow, how funny.
Yeah. And then people call it weird.
No,
yeah, it's still smart. Turn it around. Wait, you got the ingredients. Turn it around. Let's see the V8.
Oh, you want to see the front?
There we go. That's
yeah. And you know what's weird? They put the hole away from that. Oh, they want you, but I don't know. That must be some machine mess up. But you know what? It's like this. I was saying, those words that deceive. Like somebody might take a drink of this, and go, oh, I never had anything. Man, this is as good as hell.
Where did those words come from?
Have you ever heard anything good about hell? But we say these things. We say these things. So what did you replace? What did you stack on top? What did you take off the outfit and put a new one on of those things that you always had, but they were just sitting around getting dusty? You weren't using them. You weren't developing them. They weren't a part of your practice. What were they? What was in your world that you were neglecting that you can't live without today because you know what it is? Good one, huh?
I think there's more than one. I don't know if I can
pick a couple.
Pick a couple. So for me, I think I never really understood mindset.
You heard it though.
I heard about it. You gotta be in a more positive mindset. You're just in a negative mindset. Well, what does that mean? When I was in practice and I was still in this kind of scarcity mindset, I was a new entrepreneur. I had this idea of having a very successful chiropractic practice, but I didn't know how to run a business, and so I received coaching. And there's times when I was struggling and not knowing what to do, and they were telling me, well, you got to get out of that negative mindset. You got to get out of that scarcity mindset. Well, okay, I get that, but I didn't know what that meant. And so we have to be able to identify and explain that to people. I understand it much more now is because I was having a belief, a limiting pattern that there wasn't enough. There's not enough clients or patients to come into my door. There's in business, you always hear you have to crush your competition, that you have to compete. Somebody's got to come on top. Somebody's got to be number one in your industry. But then what I understood with this law of supply is that, okay, if I saw every single patient, if you saw every single client in your town, your city, you wouldn't be able to handle all of them. it'd be way too much. You wouldn't sleep at all because there's way too much. You need other people in your profession to be able to handle the overflow of all the people in the world. You can put I saw this in Mexico once where it was like a little strip mall complex and it was all dentists. One dentist right next to each other. It was like 5 or 6 dentists in the same complex. And I was always taught or would think, wow, that's a lot of competition. Somebody's going to lose out of this. Mm-hmm. But I bet you they were all busy. Because really in business is we relate to the person, not the billboard sign that's on their door. And there's enough clients, there's enough money, there's enough patients, there's enough food for everybody in this world.
It's a modern day stone soup story. I say this all the time, mm-hmm. but you don't get to partake of the big kettle of soup of life if you don't feel you have anything to contribute to that pie. So you might have the guy next to you might have a house full of chickens to put in the pie. And then the person on the other side only has the cob that corn used to be on. Well, I'm like, bring it. If anything, we can turn it into a party favor or part of the centerpiece or something. You know what I'm saying? We'll scrub something with it. There is nothing that is not useful. Mm-hmm. Even your intention can be useful. You bring that, you're still not coming empty-handed. You can come empty-handed as long as you don't come with an empty heart. Can I get into that? When we come back, I'm only doing one commercial today because I want to get in. And when we return, Veronica, I want to ask you to speak to people who were in the position you were, and I was too. When we met what we knew, I knew anyway, immediately. Seriously, because I saw an aura around Brian as he approached me for the very first time. I wasn't even looking at his features. I was looking at that light that was around him because I saw, seriously, he was in a pack of people crossing the street. He was the shortest one in the middle, all moms with prams that were crossing. And I was like, well, where are you? There's just a bunch of women crossing the street. He goes, I'm in the middle of them. And when they went straight and he turned, that light followed. And I'm like, he was standing right in front of me. We're still on the phone. So anyway, I want you, he was non-believer. His family, they, just weren't. He is today. I want you, when we come back, Veronica, to talk to people about how not to be so hasty. If you meet someone and you feel all these things, but they don't seem to be connected to those things to be true that are the grout that hold your world together. That and more when we return with the wonderful dynamic duo known as Veronica and Aaron, Aaron and Veronica. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to today's show. Really quickly, I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. This is Bathrobe Moments, and my guests today are Aaron and Veronica, Veronica and Aaron. And thank you to my other sponsor today, Intention Pen. Here's mine. Can you see it? Let me see. Through me, not from me. I had it inscribed. Get over to intentionpen.com. Every pen is made from scratch. You choose all of the components, all of the elements, and also what your inscription would be. But it doesn't stop there. This father and son team build it by hand, and they actually pour your intentions inside of the pen. I use it every day. This is the pen that I will sign my network television contract with. When I say network, I mean major network. And I use this pen every day. I'm not trying to save the inks for that signature. I'm telling you, if there has enough ink for 5 more words, then I must be going to sign that thing today, because I already know, because I've set the intention. Set yours today. And if I can do anything to help with that, you want to know more information, hit me up. Aaron and Veronica are here. And before I get them back here, you guys listen. If any of the content that you see as far as the show openers, the different promos, the bumpers and things like that, if you have a need for anything like that, even just for your message, brand, product, service, whatever, get with us. We have a new business. It's about 6 months old, doing well, Electric Revival, digital content creation. We bring your dream to the screen. And if your brand is flatlining, we will put the pedals on it and bring it back. So there it is, Electric Revival. Here they are. Aaron and Veronica are back. Welcome back, you guys. And before we went to break, I kind of put a teaser out there, and I want you guys to talk about Veronica. Those people, I think a lot of people, I heard people say, well, I liked her, or he was great, or are you going to have a second date? The people say, I'm never going to find somebody. But they're so quick to cut the relationship off at the hips because, oh, that person didn't even know what meditation was or whatever. Talk about that and how you go about when, use your own example of when you see somebody who doesn't know, but it doesn't mean that they're not your soulmate. Talk about that. How'd you know?
Well, I guess for me, I just felt a really strong connection even before we met. We connected first through Facebook, through a mutual friend, because we were supposed to be sharing the same office. And I couldn't stop thinking about him. And I thought, I'm like, this is, but that connection was really strong. And then after we met, I remember I had a dream about him, and then it was just like all these things were
okay. Hold on. You shouldn't have ever said that. Was it like one of those old Pepsi commercials where you were standing in the window up at the office with 4 other women, and you looked down and Aaron ripped off the hard hat in slow motion and opened a Pepsi and started pouring it into his mouth and
Pour it all over my hair.
All over him. Okay, tell us about the dream.
No, it wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the dream, it was, I think we were kissing or something, and then
oh, you went right past the Pepsi.
I did.
We don't got time for Pepsi. We don't drink soda around this house, all right?
Okay, right. It's like, well, I don't need that. Okay,
But
go on.
it was something like that, and then I think my daughter came in, and then it was like, okay, I have to go or something, but it was like it started off kind of like that, and I thought it was interesting, and but it felt like it was a short dream, but it wasn't the Pepsi commercial or anything.
But you knew that did you believe that that matchmaker friend out in the universe was looking out? Had you been putting something out?
I was, because
Okay.
before we met, I was actually married, but I wasn't happy in the marriage. There was all kinds of things that were happening, and
Oh, she froze. Did she froze with you guys?
oh, there you
No,
go.
we're back.
Okay, I was like, okay, take your time, think about it. This is gonna be good. And I realized you were frozen. Okay.
Yes, we were going into 2012, and I went to this spiritual group. These ladies
They froze again.
told me, "You're gonna meet somebody," and then at that time I was already married. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, what does he look like? But then I was just joking around. I didn't really care at that moment who it was.
Now, did she know that you weren't happy?
I didn't say anything. They
See,
just said
even that, I would have
better.
been like, that has to be a sign, because most people, they know you. She knew you were married.
I don't even think it was a few different women. I didn't
Okay.
explain anything, and they just said, you deserve better. You're going to meet someone. And they kind of described Aaron. And so I'm like, okay. And I had been putting it out there, like, just, I want to be happy in my relationship. But the one I was in, I wasn't. So
Veronica,
uh-huh.
I'm sorry, but do you think it was important? Because I noticed you're never too specific. You're never too specific. Even when you said, now's the time, you said to do it. Some people will say, just do it. But if you're working something with purpose, you can't just do it. That's almost a whatever kind of attitude, frivolously, haphazardly, you see. But then when Aaron said, listen, he said, just listen. So where we place those little connectors are really important. It's just like TOO. When we use it where it was intended at the end, it's inclusive, it's increase. It's, come on, you guys, we have room for you too. You want some of this? I can give you one too. But when we move it, I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fat. I'm too ugly. Whatever, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So what is it, do you think, Veronica and Aaron, what do you guys do when you don't have proof? See, that's the thing. Fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
I don't have a reference point. And when people are trying to do something that has never been in this world, and I know because that thing back there, when I had that dream about the apology company, and it was in a game show thing, and I managed a apartment building. I asked half my tenants. Only the people in that picture said, I've never heard of that, Lauren, but I could see it. You know what? You might be the first person in the world with that idea. And they were right. That's why they're in the picture. All the others, probably 100 and some. Nobody's ever heard of that. You see what I mean? And it depended on how I took it. So talk about this. How do you know what you should question? And how do you know when you shouldn't? I already know the answer, what you're going to say, but I want it for them. So,
when you should question or when you shouldn't?
Right. How do you know? No brainer. Do it. Done. Or, I better take a look. I better walk around this one 360 degrees. I don't know. I got a feeling about there might be some that right there. I just gave it away. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the feelings and we talked about emotions. A lot of times the emotions can get in the way of what you're really feeling on the inside. Like if you've had previous experiences that maybe weren't so good, then that emotional side is going to kick in and be like, oh, I don't know about this, because it relates to something that you've experienced before. But if you're able to tap into the inside and what's really going on, then it's like a different energy.
Some people think that that's the same thing, emotions and feelings, don't they? A lot of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I know for a fact, because I've spoken with somebody that actually worked with you who asked me to remain nameless. Let's talk about this. Manifestation Mindset Institute. Tell people what you do to help them, because I know that there is at least one person listening right now that needs to make that call to you. So tell them what you're going to do when they get there and what this is all about. So, because they're going to know, they're going to see themselves sitting there face to face with you. I know it. So go ahead. Tell everybody what you're doing here.
And this is really our life story. We realized that I understood that I was meant to do something greater, that there's more than just what I was doing. And I wanted to learn how could I do all of the great things that I wanted to do. And like Veronica said, how can we be more happy? That could be just a goal someone has. And so understanding that when we create things in our life, when we want to manifest something, it all starts as a thought process. It's our mindset. We have to start there first, because if you don't believe that you can do something, you can work do all these things as much as you want, and you might get things, but you may not be satisfied. And so understanding certain concept of how we create things in our life, whether it's you want to create a better, happier relationship, or maybe something in your business, a career, whatever it is you want to do, what we're going to help people do is find out, one, what is it that they really want to create in their life? Do they even know what they want? Because that's the first step. Do you know what you clearly want to accomplish in your life? And then second is we have to find out, let's look at all the conditioning. Let's remove all those limiting beliefs that we might have and install the proper ones and start to condition the mindset to be able to shift your energy, your vibration that you put out, so you can start to attract the things that you want. But
like a tuning fork.
Yeah, we have to tune your frequency to what it is that you want. Otherwise, you're trying to get channel 13 when you're on channel 25.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Just like, every radio station and every TV station has that megahertz or whatever, where you tune in and you can find us here on the dial. And sometimes, remember AM radio, you could always no offense to anybody, but two stations that you could always count on coming through at the same time when nothing else would play, Spanish and country. They always, you can hear them together, right? Yeah. But, and you always want to I'll take either one, just give me one. So yeah. I realized too with you guys, listen, about this Manifestation Mindset Institute, why you need to get over and check it out. If you listen carefully, these two, go to their page on Facebook. Go in and take a look. I never hear you guys say, oh, we're trying to, oh, we're working on, or we're going to. Nobody ever knows what's missing from your picture. A lot of people say, well, my goal is to have this, but you guys talk about it after it gets here in most cases. Here's what's new. And I'm like, so that's what they've been manifesting. So, right. So I am really excited. You may not know this, but I have picked up a lot about how to manifest. And just by listening to the way you all phrase things, it's true. People say, oh, you speak it into existence, but then they don't do anything to ascertain how to place their words in, because utterances become thoughts. Thoughts become words. Words become actions. Actions create something. Mm-hmm. Something. So a seed is the plant. The plant bears the fruit. If you don't have any fruit, or if it's rotten, or or you maybe doing too much. You got a lot of fruit, but you can't harvest it all because it's hanging to the ground. Mm-hmm. You need to hire some pickers, or you need to sell half your stuff or something, so that you're not losing what you have worked for. What's the best way for people to get to you if they want to talk to you about how to get inside your programs, how to maybe just have a conversation with you, or just to be a great friend? What's the best way for them to do that?
One of the best ways, you can direct message us. You can go to our Facebook page at Aaron and Veronica. You can send us a private message there if you want to get a faster response. Check out our website on Manifestation Mindset Institute. We do have contact. You can email us. Anything you have questions on our programs that we have, and anything we have coming up, you can let us know that as well. We're here to help you and manifest and create what it is that you truly want. And we want you to be happy in the same time during that process. And so we're here to help you, guide you, and let's all create our perfect worlds together.
I love it. I hate that we're out of time. And that was only one commercial. You guys, I have just dropped the website that you see on the screen inside your chat. So there's no excuses. I would have done it earlier, but I know somebody's trigger happy and would have clicked it right there in the show. So I waited. But get over now. If you don't do it now, do it later. If you don't get it from Aaron and Veronica, if you don't get it from me, that is not what's important to us. Mm-hmm. What's important to us is that you continue looking, continue seeking. You will find it. You will get it. And the first thing you'll want to do is give it away. That's how you know that you've been kissed smack on the lips by purpose. I want to thank you guys so much. It's always a pleasure. We can't wait another year. I feel like we barely got started. You guys, Aaron and Veronica and Aaron, get over and check them out. Do yourself and the world a favor. And I'm telling you, the law of attraction put us here today. So get in and see what they're doing. You won't be disappointed. Anything you guys would like to say in closing as we get out of here?
I just want to say, if you're working on anything, you have a goal, always have that good feeling emotion whenever you're doing anything.
That good feeling emotion. There you go. You guys, put your hearts on the screen and thank this wonderful, wonderful dynamic duo for pouring into us and allowing us to pour into them. I am Lauren Michaels Harris. This is Bathrobe Moments, and I'll see you, God willing, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central. So we can do it all again. I'll meet you right out front on the front porch. My guest tomorrow from the country of Canada is Banky Benjamin. She actually is my website developer, but she's an entrepreneur. And I met her about 4 years ago when I did my first international speech for the government of Canada, the Parliament. I guess I always call them government. And we're not government, we're Parliament in Canada. So she's been a friend ever since. So don't miss it. Come in, get out there today, and be the blessing you'd like to receive. Be the gift that you would like to receive. And remember, whoever you run into, whatever situation you're dealing with, just try it, just do it, make each of them just a little bit better than the way you found them. Leave them that way and watch what happens in your world. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Love you guys. Be good. Be good to each other. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you.